You know, unbelievable college basketball game. That was a heavyweight fight at the highest level. Two teams in the center of the ring going toe to toe. The first half was a slog. Nobody felt like could get good looks. Second half, nobody could get a stop. And I think, you know, if you look at it, people wanted to score and go out. They weren't guarding, but you know, I don't know if that was Duke Dean or Dame Lillard, you know, out there coming off those ball screens. I mean, he's shooting with, you know, off balance. I mean, it was unbelievable. The shot making both ways, and you know, I told Brian after the game, we obviously got an incredible amount of respect for those guys. Those guys are the defending champs. They have a championship DNA. You could tell there. I told the team before the game, they're like Freddy Krueger. You know, you can't kill them. They just keep coming, and you think you got them, and you don't. And you just got to keep playing, and you got to play for. I told them for 40 minutes. Obviously, I undersold it 45, but I could not be prouder of the group of guys in that locker room. Their competitive will, their competitive disposition, their poise under pressure, the ability in moments of truth to step up and find a way to make plays is just, you know, it's terrific, and it's a hallmark of really good teams. And so that's a great college basketball game. And let me close with this on the opening statement. We don't. I said it afterwards. We don't win without the fans. I mean, our that atmosphere, that environment, how loud they were. I mean, we're gassed. You know, this is our third game in 6 days. We went to Murray State Sunday, went to UIC. We got home from Chicago at 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. You know, took a day off, and then had a one-day prep for today. And our guys are just, I mean, they're spent. And the crowd and that energy and the environment they created, I mean, they when we looked like we were about to get knocked out, they kept willing us back in and bringing us back in. And so thank you, Terre Haute, Forest, all Sycamore fans that were here today and made this, you know, an incredibly special moment for our players, staff, and they were a huge part of why we were able to get to win the game.
If you would, just raise your hands, let me know if you want. Marty, go ahead.
Talking about turnovers, you know, I know that was something that, you know, we talked about a few weeks ago, which, you know, the string of games in a row, double-digit turnovers down to 6. You know, today, you know, I mean, again, Bradley will take advantage of everything you give him. So how much of that was the point of emphasis for you?
Huge. I thought at Bradley at times when we got up 19 at half in the second half, our offense was their best offense. Had some turnovers, had some shooting turnovers where we made some bad rim decisions. Number one key for us offensively was to take care of the ball, and really it was the same thing. We added a key on both ends because I felt like I said our offense really was their best offense in Peoria. So to play the game with 6 turnovers, they're so long, so athletic, they clog space. I thought we did a great job of taking care of it, and at least, you know, we were able to generate, you know, shots consistently. And I thought first half our shot selection maybe wasn't always the greatest, but we were taking care of the rock and a couple of sessions turnovers against zone there late, but late in the game we had three turnovers. Finished an overtime game against Bradley with 6. That's as much of the reason why we won as anything.
Student radio.
So when Larry fouls out of the game with only a couple seconds left in the game, what was the conversation like heading into that with, you know, less than 10 seconds left? How easy it would be to foul and go send him to the line or end up with a shot. What was the conversation like talking about that to play tough defense?
Talking about in the end of the game?
Yes.
Yeah, so we knew in the end of the game, well, Julian at that time had 3 fouls. So we knew we had a foul to give. We had 5 team fouls. So what we told them with 28 seconds was what Jason made the second free throw was not to, we wanted to be very aggressive on the ball because we could foul. We didn't want to necessarily just foul for no reason because then they drive. There's an incidental contact. Now they're 1-on-1, we lose the game. So the goal was to do exactly what Julian did, which was to be hyper aggressive on the ball and see if we could turn them over. Now, the referee called the foul, so I couldn't really see if, I mean, Hickman's body was between me and Julian, so I'm biased, so I'll just let it go. But they called the foul, and so that could have been a game-winning layup. It wasn't, but it was only the 16th foul, and it was Juice's 4th, and then he wound up fouling out in the beginning of overtime. And I think this is like what Xavier Bledson did coming off the bench in overtime, not playing in the second half, to, like, you talk about a guy who, like, he's up the whole second half coaching and talking to his teammates. Talking about a guy who's staying invested and involved and ready. He is. So then all of a sudden, with 3 minutes to go in this huge game, he has to come off the bench. But because he stayed engaged, because he stayed invested, he's ready to go, and he makes the biggest shot of the game on that right wing on that three, and then he goes up the line and makes 2 free throws and closes it. And the amount of moxie that takes, but the kind of like, you talk a lot about being a great winner. Like that to me will forever be like at the top end of like we talk about what a great winner is. Like what he did coming off the bench with not pouting, not putting his head down, not sulking, not man, coach should have put me in earlier, nothing. Come out, make the biggest shot of the game, make 2 huge free throws. That was, I mean, that's as, in 26 years doing it, that's as good as I've seen in terms of looking at somebody saying, hey, that guy's a winner. Xavier Bledson is an ultimate winner. He's a savage competitor, but he's an ultimate winner.
Pat?
With what you guys have brought together here, what is I guess the feeling of the satisfaction like when you're seeing it come together like this and you're hearing that crowd like that? Can you step back at all and kind of appreciate it?
I did. I tried to when I walked out there. I tried to soak it all in because I remember coming in here in year one and we weren't very good, and there was a lot of times we had 1,800 or 2,000 or whatever in here, and you lose 20 games, and that's hard on everybody. That was more games than I'd lost I think the previous 5 or 6 years combined. So it was really hard on me, but hard on our fans. But I felt in the first year, fans stuck with us. They believed in us, and they believed in what we were doing, even though we weren't winning. You had the diehards that were here every night, and then when I think the coolest thing about coaching to me, besides the Holy Grail, is relationships. But probably right below that is the amount of joy that you can bring to people, through this job, like through success, like to see how happy those fans were, to see that many people in Terre Haute come together and support something, to see the joy after that game from the students to the to the crowd, and I know Chouar was not here, but I know he's home. He and Monica are smiling on that as well, and so many people made that happen. And so the joy is not like so much for like, oh, look what I've done or look what we've done. It's more like, look at how happy this is making people. Look at it's bringing people together, and when we had an idea, a blueprint of what we want to do, similar to what we did at LMU, and to see it come together and to have a night like tonight is. I told the team in the locker room, I said that this is a great moment. This is like something they'll remember the rest of their lives. They'll be 25 years from now, 30 years from now, reflecting back on remember that Bradley game and what a great game that was. But I also told them, and I believe this, our best moments are ahead of us. This is a great moment, but I think for this team, the best moments for Indiana State, our basketball team are ahead of us.
Fletcher?
Hey, Coach. You guys have had a lot of close games last year that maybe necessarily didn't go your way. I know you guys did get it done at Arch Madness against Belmont. You have a game here tonight that holds a lot of weight. It's a big game, goes to overtime. You guys get it done. What does it mean to kind of come out on top in a close one?
Well, I think, in the Valley, if you're going to compete for championships, you got to be able to, at the moments of truth, be able to find a way through the competition. This is, this league is high-level competition, probably underratedly so nationally. I think we're whatever the 9th or 10th ranked in the country, but you watch these guys play, and I mean, this is elite basketball, high-level comp, and a lot of it is just trying to find answers and solutions. And I told the guys, like, how they feel in that locker room, and guys were just gassed. That's about as good as you can do with a competition. Like, takes you to a place you couldn't have gotten to on your own. Like, they took us to whatever our limits were, and then they pushed us past those limits. And for us to come through, I think it says a lot about who we are, and the kind of competitive will, competitive disposition that exists in that locker room. We got a lot of winners in there. Winners find ways to win, and we had to make a bunch of plays. From the free throws to getting the stop right there, Robbie on Hannah late, which he'd made 3 or 4 straight of those little push shots. Robbie winds up, we get the stop, we get the rebound, big shots, big free throws. You have to close, and I think this team all year, we haven't been in a ton of close games, but every single time we've been in a close game, we've closed it. We've closed it, and I think that's a hallmark of really good teams, is in the moments of truth that really tests you. When I was telling when you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. When you, at the end of a game in crunch time, you get squeezed, you really find out how together you are, how connected you are, and our guys have stepped in the moment. They've really embraced that, and they love to fight and compete together. And I think we're seeing the results of that. But to win this league, you got to win close games.
Marty?
We talked kind of briefly about Jason, a few weeks ago, and you joked about how he's right there with Xavier Johnson for probably most improved player in the Valley this year. 7th double-double of the game preseason. You told everybody, hey, I need more out of him. I'm excited to see him out on the floor. I'm excited to see what he can do. Did you ever think that you'd be looking at him the way that what he's doing right now?
I'm so proud of him. I mean, you talk about a guy who understands who he is and has embraced who he is, and I mean this in the most complimentary way. Like, he's the ultimate system player. What I mean by that is we don't call any plays for him. Like, there's nothing we're doing. We're like, hey, we're gonna get the ball to Jason and do this. Like, he just understands how to leverage the system to his benefit. So he gets some seam roll layups. He gets some offensive rebound stickbacks. He's the best cutter in the country, and he's 6'9" with great instincts. He runs the floor in transition. He gets those. He gets paint to great threes on kickouts, and he's making those spot threes, which is increased efficiency. He's taking great ones. He understands how to leverage the system to his benefit, and he has become an all-conference player in the Missouri Valley. Like, I don't think there's any question about that. Like, what he's doing on a night-in, night-out basis, not just offensively, but our ability, his versatility defensively. He can switch. He's guarding 1 through 5. There's not many guys in the country doing what he's doing. I've said it, many times. I think, people might not think he's our best player, and you can make an argument that that's the case, but I think he's our most important player because it doesn't work. We got 3 small guards out there. His rebounding, Robbie's rebounding, like they're 2nd and 3rd, I think, in the league in rebounding. It doesn't work. We out-rebounded Bradley, who's obviously, significantly bigger, but